fan favorite guest on. Jason, glad you made it here.
Thanks, Adrian. Happy to be here. So I hope I'm actually a fan favorite, but I'll do that on your way.
Repeat guest means we got you back on here. I think what could be interesting to start from the glazing contracting perspective, how you've implemented, at least since the last time we spoke, automation, either through AI or various tools in the glazing contracting process, just given it's interesting seeing that that's where the world is heading, but trying to understand how each stakeholder within the project team implements some of that and how everyone can benefit from it.
Yeah, it's culminating right now in a world of estimating where we're probably bidding more work than ever, which sounds contradictory to a market that's slower than usual. But what's happening is and I'm sure we're not alone in this, we're bidding different project types, smaller types, big types, data centers we wouldn't have touched 2 years ago. So our capacity of estimating is a constant conversation. And what we're focused on right now is how can we use AI to help us get estimates done faster? Because when you look at what an estimator is doing, there are probably 60% of the time on a big enough job and on architecturals that are big enough that you're counting windows and you're reading specs and you're trying to understand takeoffs. So we've done a lot of AI research. We do have a IT parent company that it makes us be very careful with who we use, and we have to go through a security process. So it's a very heavy lift for us to look at, okay, which we're going to want to see, go through approval. What I'm seeing is there are at least a dozen, probably 200 companies all trying to get this in place. And with AI, there's a few programs out. I'm not going to say any names out there. I'm running their research. I don't believe in one enough to really promote one yet, but everyone's close. There's a lot of programs that can do, a next set of architecturals, marked window plans. It can do a takeoff pretty quick. Some of our estimators who go, wait, are you replacing me? The good news is that the answer is no. That the AI architecturals are perfect. You have shadow lines, you have marks that don't show up, you have an architect who figures to mark something. But if you imagine the time it takes to count, 20 floors of windows, and now instead of counting every window, you're just looking for what AI might have missed. You're being the filter, the human filter for it. Another thing we're doing, and something that I think is going to become very commonplace, it's already onboarded onto legal. A lot of lawyers have been using it for years. There's a program, again, I'm not going to say the name, but it was developed for lawsuits, for lawyers to look at. It's called document something. They're using that program now in spec driven. So they're actually saying, put all your specs, all your addendums, all your contract documents, and we as the managers of the company can go and, hey, we're bidding this job today, pull up the program, it has an AI chatbot, and ask whatever you want. You can say, tell me all the window specs, tell me the glass specs, tell me this. Again, saves time, and saves, depending on a junior estimator, you might not know what to look for in a spec. So I could keep going on, but let me know what questions you have. I mean, it's robust. There's a lot of options.
Do you think architects are incentivized or motivated to develop sets and tools that will be easier for the contractors to digest and work with? Like, is there still this clash between the design and construction team in terms of, you just threw me a pile of crap and now I have to figure it out how I'm going to build it, what I do with this?
I think it'll be project dependent. I think that institutional projects, government projects where the spec is pretty safe, where they know what they draw is typically what they're going to get, I think there's a lot of motivation to do that. In the private sector, apartment building specifically, when architects are getting BE 90% of the time right now, they're drawing a rendering. And then really the conversation on the table is, how can we build this for the best dollar? Those I don't think you're going to see move in that direction, because the owners aren't going to pay the money for the architects to put the time in to be able to get to a AI perfection, where the drawings are so great. There's Construct Connect, which architects are using, GCs are using. They have an AI software. There's one of the ones we're looking at. So there's an AI component, part of Construct Connect, that's all talking to each other. I think we have some time until it gets there. Maybe AI will figure it out for us as it continues to evolve and continues to take our feedback and say, no, you missed that, you made that. Every company's saying the same thing. We're a year away. Well, 2 years passed with one company that was a year away 2 years ago. So we'll see. It'll get there. But right now, humans are needed. You have to trust the AI work. But I do believe with what we're about to start using, we'll save about 30% capacity.
Trust but verify, right? Oh, maybe it's going to expedite the process, but you still need that person verifying every step of the way. I caught on those. Thought as I was going down there. Why do you think your comment about we're tackling more estimates than ever? Is there more activity than ever, or are there less qualified glazing contracting companies than ever?
Unfortunately, the glazers are going down at all. I think there's still plenty of glazers afterward. It's two things. One, the job types. So our net's broader. But the same jobs are bidding 7, 8, 9, 10 times. So the same job that you bid 3 years ago that usually you're not still bidding today, those are still on the docket. So there's new stuff coming up. And then there's this long list of hold projects that have been sitting on the sidelines for 2, 3, 4 years. And those are bidding and they just keep coming. And then there's VE lists. And so the estimating, if we were to tap our lists and try and figure out, how many of these have we been before out of all the jobs bidding in a given week, I would bet you 70% rebid.
In the time 5, 10, 15 years ago, was the industry different that you onboarded, I don't think this is the case, but onboarded a contractor and then you worked through those changes? Or is the expectation throw this, throw this, throw this, throw this, we want all considerations, all design options so we can make the best informed decision?
It's always been the latter. That's always been the question, but that usually happened one time. Now it's happening 3, 4, 5 times, because even when, all right, we do all these things, we're going to get them the budget. When he gets the budget, there's a lot of things going into the project. So no one's trying to be facetious, but there's a war in the Middle East. Oil went up. Hey, the concrete's gone up. Data centers are killing the electricians and MEP. So, well, maybe concrete and glazing is slow in one market. You got the MEP side on fire. So all of a sudden that budget goes up. So there's a lot of factors come involved. I think I would say since COVID, it's been an increasing amount of that activity. And I think it's because of all the changes that just continue to come, month after month.
Do you think the globalization of our industry has been a gift or a curse?
I think it's curse. I'll talk specifically to glazing. I'll say I was born in Windows. That's all I know. Windows is uniquely a domestic product, more so than I think most components in construction. There's always, offshore stuff. But if you look at the makeup of most of the buildings, at least I've been part of my whole career, it's all domestically made or maybe Canadian made, which is, close enough. We're not bringing much over the pond. I'm seeing that change the past 5 years because people are taking bigger risks to make budgets work. I don't think it's sustainable. I think people want glass in the day. I think when your cleaner is breaking windows or when you're at your phone turnover for a $50,000 a day data center that have liquidated damages of $50K, do you want to have to wait on European glass if your lift guy runs into a piece of glass? So I think all those things lead towards domestic is the way to go for things you urgently. And I know people, myself included, who have felt some pain for making different choices the past couple of years, and I won't make those choices again.
When does that value gap flip in terms of, is it a certain size project? When you get over 75,000 square feet, all of a sudden 5%, 7% premium all of a sudden doesn't pencil out, where on a smaller project, we can eat that. It's worth the imposed risk.
I think it's all economic driven. I would have answered you differently 2 years ago, but I would have pointed to some developers and say they will never go overseas. They won't. I know well. He doesn't care about a 20% discount from China. He's not going to do it. That's not the case today. So when that same guy who really doesn't want to, he meant what he said, but he has a job on the shelf for 4 years, he's going to make a choice he has to make. I think that the economy we're in today is short-lived. Every 10 years we see something. We saw it in 08. We almost had a 20-year break where we had 08 all the way up to 2022, 23. And hopefully we're almost done with it. But I think we're in a unique time right now.
And part of our discussion next, on a final note, with existing building retrofits, do you think that decision-making framework changes in new build versus existing buildings, given on the existing side, you're usually under a much higher time crunch?
Definitely. Existing building, I think, is going to go domestic 95% of the time. Unless there's an offshore option that you're very confident in lead times, they have a design already in place and they're ready to roll. These guys need things put in fast. Once they're demoed, they're exposing the elements inside of the building is getting destroyed from there on. So they don't want to risk a 3-month delay because of an overseas war that broke out or a customs issue or whatever else could happen that we can't control.
Well, we'll continue this on stage and everyone will get that footage later on. Thanks for coming out, Jason.
Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate it.